Hello, and welcome to Sprint to Innovate 2025 Career Nav Design Thinking Training. This is Al McLeod. I am calling myself the ever-evolving innovator. I retired in 2019. Since then, I've done quite a few things, but what I focus on now is academic collaboration with local communities like Red River College Polytech, University of Manitoba, University of Winnipeg, and occasionally COM IT, a social education organization. I work with instructors and organizations on collaborations, projects, events, training, and I'm the chair of the Red River College Polytech ACE project space. I'm also a startup advisor. I work with a number of local startups who are primarily, mostly people I know or people who I know have introduced me to them, and I provide advice on a kind of regular basis. And finally, I'm an innovation and generative AI enthusiast. I have been working in innovation for quite a few years. My last role before I left the corporate world and retired was VP of Innovation for a major insurance company. And now what I do is I teach innovation, I train innovation, I do innovation events. I work with corporations, I work with individuals, and I work with institutions. So I really enjoy innovation. But most recently, I've combined innovation and generative AI together to really supercharge innovation. And so I work with the Manitoba Association of AI Professionals, also known as MAPE as well. So the goals for today are to provide an overview of innovation and design thinking, to use a design thinking case study to do super fast design thinking training, provide some tools and guidance for the design thinking project, and we'll also do a pitch training as well. But I think I will do that in a separate session. So when does innovation happen? It happens at the intersection of these four lenses. So the first one is the human lens, also known as desirability. So do customers want it or need it? The second one is the viability lens or the business lens. Should we do it? Do we have the business model to support it, for example? And the next one is feasibility. Can we build it with technology that exists today? And the final one is the impact on planet and people. Is what we're doing a good thing? Is it helpful to people? Is it producing any negative impacts? Very important to know that. And of course, that is where it happens at the intersection of those four things. They all have to be true. And design thinking says to go at it through the human lens, and that's what we'll do right now. So this is the design thinking model. It is two spaces, the problem space and the solution space, and within there are these 5 steps. And we talk about the stages of design thinking, and we're going to use the Bank of America case study to analyze it. One thing I should mention, this is very important. Don't fall in love with the solution, fall in love with the problem. And this is the same thing with entrepreneurs, with startups. You want to make sure that you take the time here to understand your customers' needs and problems before you rush into solutions, or you're going to spend a lot of money and time and waste it. So we start off here in the solution problem space with empathy. So in 2004, Bank of America hired design agency IDEO to boost their enrollment numbers. They asked, how might we encourage new customers to open bank accounts? So they got together with a bunch of customers with the bank, and they started exploring with those customers, asking lots of open-ended questions. They found these insights. One woman rounded up in her checkbook for easier calculations and a buffer. They found that single mothers struggle with saving, had nothing to put aside. They found that even a small amount saved is good, provided a financial buffer to help them manage financial security. And so then what they did was IDEO worked with the bank to reframe the problem as how might we help families save money? So now you've gone through the human lens. This is the human need, is to save money. So they put together a team of product managers and finance experts and software engineering people and all these different groups. And they had 20 brainstorming sessions, 80 product concepts, and one favorite idea. And that was to keep the change program. So the way the keep the change program works, I'm sure you've heard of this before because it's been used in many other cases after this, is you get a debit card associated with a bank account. You use the debit card, you buy a cup of coffee for $2.30. It charges your debit card $3, takes the 70 cents and change and puts it into a savings account, which is kind of off to the side, right? You don't access it every day. By the end of the year, you have several $100s in that savings account that you didn't expect. So that they've created a cartoon video displaying the program. They sent it out, that prototype out in an online survey with 1,600 participants, and then they iterated on it to make sure that it would work. And the Keep the Change program quickly took off. The first year attracted 2 million customers, and it's since grown to over 12 million who have saved a total of $2 billion. And 3 in 5 new Bank of America customers choose to enroll in the program with 99% program retention. So you start here with empathy, listening to customers, doing research. In the define stage, you look at all the information you've gotten here and you reframe the problem to a customer problem that you can solve. The next stage, you come up with lots of different ideas using the diversity of a team. And then the next stage, you take one of those favorite ideas and you prototype it, then you test it, and then you iterate. Okay, and that is as simple as it is, design thinking. So we're going to use this as our case study for how to train in design thinking. So the question we asked, by the way, the company's name is CareerNav, and the question is, how might we support students along their career path? So we start by looking at that problem space, and we're going to start with empathize and define. So in the empathize stage, you want to understand what customers care about, to identify the real customer problem to solve, and to remove your assumptions and uncover customer needs and problems we're solving. Remember the case of the woman who rounded up her bank account in order to create a buffer in her bank account. Rounded up her checkbook, I should say. So how do I empathize? You observe, engage, watch, listen. You act as a customer sometimes. Maybe you are the customer. Then you do secondary research. Use AI. It's a terrific assistance stack. You learn the broader context and perspectives. Understand the stakeholders and systems that are involved. If you take an academic solution, for example, academic organizations are very complicated. Understanding all the stakeholders is very important, same as the healthcare system, for example. You want to learn about recent innovations and challenges of the subject area, and you want to get facts and figures to understand the context of the challenge. Here's some of the great generative AI tools I use. I use ChatGPT, which is, you all know what that is, of course, but it's got search capabilities and reasoning capabilities. It's actually quite a good tool. XMind is a mind mapping tool with some AI capabilities. Gemini, of course, is Google's tool. Napkin is Google's large language model. Napkin AI is a beta product, but it's a really good product. You'll see some of the examples of visuals that I use Napkin to create. It's a really great tool. I'll show you those when we get to them. Perplexity is kind of a replacement for Google Search. That's an AI-based search engine, and Wizard is a AI-based UX tool. So then you do some secondary research. So use Google Search or Perplexity or something to look for compelling data that could be helpful to you. Look at places like Reddit. Here's a 4 million member career guidance Reddit. Look at other social media like Facebook, and as I indicate, it's a dumpster fire for sure. And then, of course, LinkedIn. But LinkedIn's job isn't to help you with your career. It really isn't. LinkedIn has its own purposes, its own ways, it wants to make money. And LinkedIn is not doing what we're trying to do here. It's not trying to support you along your career. It's providing kind of the same thing to everybody. So one of the pieces of research we found was this one. And we found that Canada graduates about 600,000 students a year, and the United States graduates about 3.5 million. So that's a lot of students entering the workforce every year. We also found this research from Randstad about Canada versus US students. And we found out that 51% and 56% of students in the US and Canada feel ambitious about their careers. So they identify as being ambitious about their careers. And 44% of Canadian students are worried about job loss, which is interesting, versus 20% in the US. Says something about us all, I guess. And here's some insights from shadowing college career counselors. We found out they do workshops and seminars and networking, job searching strategies and industry trends. We found out they provide resume interview reviews, interview coaching, and job search resources. And they have some challenges. Technology evolves very quickly these days, requiring counselors to stay updated on new tools, platforms, and job market trends. We found that they have insufficient resources for niche career fields and limited personalized guidance due to high caseloads. And the top three career concerns of college students are that many graduates struggle with uncertainty about their career paths, which can lead to a sense of lack of direction and indecisiveness, and also concerns during their academic career. The job market is highly competitive, making it challenging for new graduates to stand out amongst their peers. And managing financial responsibilities with an entry-level salary is a significant concern. We then talked to employers about what they seek in new graduates. We found out they're really interested in technical skills these days. They want proficiency in relevant software and tools, programming language, design software, generative AI, things like that. They want soft skills like critical thinking and creativity, and communication capabilities, teamwork, very different, and a lot about adaptability as things are changing so quickly. Experience, they're looking for experience like hands-on experience through internships, projects, or volunteer work, and desirable traits are initiative, eagerness to learn, and cultural fit within the organization. So companies are expecting a lot these days. And then we want to talk to target customers, the students. So we did some interviews. We looked at, how do we create this kind of empathy map, but we did a simplified empathy map, which talks about things like, what are they trying to do? What do they feel and think? And what are their pain points, stuff like that. And then we did a journey map, but we ended up doing a journey map about the academic career, and we'll show you that in a bit. So here's how you interview. So if you get a chance to interview people during this session, this exercise this weekend, you want to have a plan. You want to talk about who's going to do the interviewing, what are the rules, who's going to take notes, what question areas are you going to cover. You want to, and when you're executing, you want to listen more than you talk. You want to ask open-ended questions because a no or a yes doesn't give you a lot of information. A story gives you a lot of information. So ask a question like, when was the last time you, right? Tell me about the last time you went to a restaurant, right? And then use the 5 whys technique, which is when you ask a question, you get a response back, ask why again, go deeper, set up your roles before the interview so everybody knows what they're going to do, and then dump your interview notes using this tool we'll show you. So we talked about who are our potential customers. So we thought about ambitious students, the uncertain major switcher, graduate school aspirants, the entrepreneurial student, and we just had a long list here of different kinds of students, different sorts of students. So we're not sure yet, but we're thinking about who would be the customers that we could help the most or need the most help. And then we developed a bunch of questions to ask those students that we're going to talk to. And we used a framework called the Jobs to be Done framework, which was developed by Clayton Christensen, a really brilliant innovator. So the first 3 things here are functional jobs. So what are the practical tasks or objectives are the students trying to accomplish? Ask questions like, what specific skills do you feel you need to develop to be successful in your desired career? Emotional jobs, how do they want to feel about their journey? Like, what does career success look like to you? When you say you want to be successful, what does that mean? And social jobs, how do students want to be perceived by others in their career? How important is prestige or reputation, for example? And then the last 3 categories are supporting jobs. What related tasks do students need to accomplish to support their main career goals? Like, how do you plan to finance your career development? What personal branding or self-promotion strategies do you think you'll need? The 5th one is a big one, obstacles and pain points. So these ones are obvious problem areas that you may be able to solve. So what do you see as your biggest obstacles to achieving your career goals? As you can imagine, have somebody writing that down because that's gold. And success criteria, how will students measure success in their career journey? How do you know if you've chosen the right career path, for example? So once you get all those questions out and then you start asking the questions and you use a sheet like this is a very simple version of an empathy map. And so we're looking for who are the influences on this group? What are the tasks and goals they're trying to do? What do they think and feel? And what are their pains? And so we found out, for example, for tasks and goals, they want to make some money. Students, one thing they always need is money. Finding a job that aligns with their skills and interests, continuous learning to develop AI solutions that solve complex global problems, to get a great job with big tech company, make their parents proud. Um, what do they think and feels? Well, changing careers is quite scary, said one person to us. Things are changing so fast these days, makes it tough to make decisions. How can I connect to the right people who can help me find a job, like get a mentors? How can I differentiate myself? Tough to get a job with big tech. Pains, feel imposter syndrome sometimes, developing soft skills, overwhelmed by the job search process, and sometimes freeze up during the interview process. And then who influences them? Mentors, LinkedIn influencers, parents, career counselors, and generative AI. So lots of information there. And one of the things we realized is, what does the word ambition mean? So we went back to that initial stimulus that we got from that Randstad report that said over half of students say they're ambitious. And we looked at the old definition of ambitious. This is actually from Urban Dictionary, but it's still old. A strong general desire for accomplishment, wealth, or power, generally described as a positive trait. That's what the old one was. We don't think that's sufficient anymore. So from talking to people, students, here's the way we've reframed ambition. So this is our modern definition. It has financial security as a foundation for freedom and flexibility, but not as an end result. This is not just what you're trying to do, make money. It's to provide these two things. Purpose-driven impact, making a meaningful contribution. So not just going in and working a job you hate, but making a meaningful contribution in your job and bringing about some kind of positive change. Autonomy and fulfillment is about work-life integration. So how do you make sure that you have a decent, good work life and a really good home life, and having flexibility in those things. And then pursuing passions, right? Doing things that you care about. And a growth mindset and continuous learning is both about personal development and professional development. So this is our definition of ambition we're using, which is really different than the old school definitions of ambition. And then finally, in the define step, what we've done here is, in the step, what we've done is we have done a journey map for the college student journey. And we look at pre-college prep all the way to post-graduation, and we've mapped student experiences, high points, low points, and feelings. And as you imagine, these are the things we're going to focus on. And what we found is that there's a lot of opportunities, and we're all students ourselves. None of this was a big surprise to us. Lots of challenges during the academic career. And so we ended up thinking maybe we'd do something for during the academic career as well. And that's the end of the empathize step. So now what we've done is we've talked to students, we've done research, we're kind of ready to move to the next stage. We have lots of data. Our whiteboards are full of data. So now we want to understand more about the problem so we know where to focus the solution, focus on the human business parts of the problem, and really try to understand the unmet needs of those customers. And you want to take all your insights and stimulus, capture what you learned, questions and other research stuff, make sticky notes, and group and cluster them into themes. Don't spend a ton of time on it, just do it, and then write a problem statement from your insights. So here, we looked at all these different sources, and here's some of the insights we got, right? Like these are things like they want to do continuous learning. We found out that a bunch of these different kind of just of issues and challenges. We modernized the definition of ambition, all sorts of interesting stuff. And then we clustered them into these themes: career plan, skills and mindsets, networking, and job search. And then we got our 3 themes. And what we now did is we spent a fair bit of time talking about, okay, so who's the customer group we're going to work with, and what's the problem we're going to solve. And what we came up with was ambitious students. So we thought, and that's the new definition of ambitious. So we thought we created a persona for ambitious Gurpreet, 22-year-old single, comp sci student, top of her class. Her goals are to be chief AI officer of a successful company, work at Google DeepMind on the way maybe, make an impact in the AI field. Her passion is AI for good, make her family proud, and have a career full of continuous learning and adventures. Her pain points are she's nervous about her future, unsure about finding the right first job to start her career, has occasional imposter syndrome, and finds a job search process daunting. So that's our our persona. That's the customer we're going after. So now we reframe the problem statement. But the first thing we do is we create this thing called a point of view statement. So point of view statement says, what would Gurpreet, if she was a real person versus an amalgam of a bunch of different people, what would she say? And so students like Gurpreet, who has ambitious career objectives and lofty goals, needs accessible, effective guidance and support to help them achieve their professional aspirations. And so the persona, what's the unmet need, and what's their goal? And so the original challenge was how might we support students along their career path? But using this point of view statement, here's our new reframe problem statement. How might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations? Okay. And that's the end of the define step. So now we're in the solution space. So we've defined our problem, we've defined our target customer. Ambitious students, guidance and support to meet their career aspirations. So we got ideate, prototype, and test. So now we've reframed that problem statement. The next step is to ideate. So you'll want to transition from learning about the problem, which we've done, to creating and exploring solutions. You want to think beyond, build on the ideas of others, remove constraints, and insights plus stimulus plus the diversity of your team makes for great creativity. You want to brainstorm ways to solve the unmet needs of customers. Do it fast. Don't focus on quality or feasibility. Discuss ideas, clarify, evaluate after you've done your brainstorming. So you can do group brainstorming or you can do mind mapping. There are many, could be individual or group. There are many different ideation techniques. For purposes of this weekend, just focus on these two. You don't need any more. And so mind mapping is um, a very interesting technique that you can use. But what we're going to do here, I think, just for the sake of time, is we're going to use this. So we'll just show you how to do this. So you say, start in the middle with how might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations. And what you do is you end up coming up with a bunch of topic areas. And you do this by brainstorming. So you ask everybody, so what are the topic areas? Well, the generative AI skills, job hunt support, mentorship, strategic networking, continuous learner, preparing for opportunities. And this is all stuff that's come from your insights, of course, that you had before. Entrepreneurial network, soft and enduring skills university is what this stands for. Interview support, career roadmaps, financial planning, and AI chatbot. The next step is that you take each of these topics that you just developed and you blow them out. So here, generative AI skills, AI first behavior, which just means the first thing you do when you start anything is how can I use AI to do it quicker? Critical thinking and joining an AI association, preparing for opportunities, taking on big projects, joining associations, going to big events and getting known, having side hustles, and a continuous learner, all these different things. And so now you've got lots and lots of different ideas here organized into these categories. What these little dots represent is you can now say, oh, let's take this guy, and let's try and come up with an idea across the three of them. So here you've got chatbot, leverage chatbots for the solution. You've got soft and enduring university. How can I use chatbots for that? And then here you've got being a continuous learner. Again, how can I use chatbots? And you can kind of come up with one idea across all three of those. Okay. And then brainstorming. Brainstorming is another really great tool. It's gotten a bit of a bad rap, but it's gotten a bit of a bad rap because of poor technique and poor facilitation. So we're going to talk about this quickly. So whoever the facilitator is going to be in your group of students is going to be enforcing these rules in order to make sure that you're successful. It may sound weird to say you got rules of brainstorming, but this is something you want to do quickly within 20 minutes, half an hour max during this weekend. And you want to make sure everybody contributes because the more people contribute, the more ideas you get, the better ideas you'll have. So you want to defer judgment. You want to make sure that no one's saying, well, that won't work or that won't. No one cares. Just come up with the ideas. Don't debate them. Just put them up on the board. You want to encourage wild ideas because wild ideas can be really good ideas. You want to build on the ideas of others. If someone says an idea and you like it, say, yeah, and that's great. And then provide your idea that would be grouped with it. You want to stay focused on the topic. You don't want to let people wandering all over the place that is not at all located, interested in our problem statement. You want to have one conversation at a time. Don't let people talk over each other. You want to be visual. Sketching really helps. And you want to go for quantity. The rule is if you want to have good ideas, you have to have lots of ideas. And so here is an example of brainstorming from IDEO.
All right, team. Thanks for coming for a brainstorm today. We have a really interesting topic. The local zoo, the visitors are down 20%. So how might we boost the number of visitors to the zoo? This is a serious problem for them. They want to stay open. They need more funding, all this kind of good stuff. So let's spend a few moments now first and get a few ideas down. Remember, we're going for quantity. Let's see how many ideas we can get. And also, there's so many good ideas out there. Let's push ourselves, try to get closer to the ridiculous. That might be brilliant. All right, so I'll start us off. I had a date night. So, and you might hang out with the animals that are in action, if you know what I mean. All right, what else? What else you got? Oh yeah, what do you got?
What if we do a dress up like your favorite animal day? So it's like a costume themed thing.
Very cool.
What about zoo pop-up at places that kids frequent, the mall, school, parks?
Home Depot, I know, has programs for little kids to build, like, you know, birdhouses and stuff like that. So it could be all these different crafts, but they're sort of animal lessons, so
Love
kids
it,
learn.
love
And
it. I have a night camping, so you get to camp overnight there. So let's get a 5 or 10 more.
So I figure loyalty cards work for airlines and for burritos, so why not have it work for the zoo?
Building up the whole celebrity thing, what if like we pretend that animals are celebrities and we give out like a gossip magazine as an advertisement?
So for an hour every day, they vacate the cages, and you get to go swing on the bars and everything that the monkeys have. So zoo turn playground.
That's awesome.
What we'll do next is we'll look at these and look for some themes and cluster a couple, and then I think we should even prototype.
Okay, so a little bit of quick feedback there. I don't know if what you thought of that example. They're really good at what they do. The two things I would mention is the first one is before they started the brainstorming exercise, they gave people a few minutes to write down a bunch of ideas. That is the professional way to do it. Now you're giving people time to think about things. They already know what the problem is. They can come up with ideas on their own. And if you saw, you could then proceed in an orderly fashion where you're writing up sticky notes and handing them, and it flows really nicely. Plus, you've given people who are kind of a bit more introverted the opportunity to think quietly and to come up with some ideas before everybody just starts talking. So I love that process, and I highly recommend you do that. The second one it was a fail, and that where it was that when the woman said, I have there's this Home Depot has these animal lessons ideas with that are crafts. The problem was that her idea didn't get on the board because what happened was she didn't have a yellow sticky, so she didn't follow the process. So that was her problem. But the facilitator should have just said, "Oh, that's a really good idea. Why don't you write that up?" and make her go away and write up a yellow sticky and take 2 seconds and give it to her. So both of them, the fail happened. She failed. He failed. At the end of the day, the idea didn't get on the board. So facilitation is very important. So we did a group brainstorm, and we came up with lots and lots of different ideas, as we should have. And so we've got tons of ideas. And then what we do is we group them, we cluster them. And so here's our clusters: job search support, skills, innovation training, career manager, networking, and then 2 separate ones: academic career advisor and LinkedIn and other APIs. And what we do is we rank them. So career management was the first one, second was skills, third was innovation training, fourth job support, fifth networking, and then we had 6 academic career advisor and 7 LinkedIn APIs, application program interfaces, which just means using what's called an application interface to link between your program and LinkedIn. And so we developed this concept card. So this is where we write up the idea. So the idea title is CareerNav app for ambitious students. Ambitious students play hard and work harder. They're hoping to maximize their career potential. They often have very lofty goals. They also feel imposter syndrome and therefore struggle with anxiety, even if they strive to go very far, very fast. How can we support them? So we developed a framework to guide ambitious people on their career, and they'll use this framework and various AI methods to supercharge their efforts, helping them deal with their insecurities with practice, learning, and support. They'll focus on mindset and skills development, networking, mentor support, opportunity development, career planning, and innovation and creativity training. And specialized mindset and skills such as growth mindset and innovation skills and improv will be taught. And we have a business model in mind. Freemium model for ambitious students to encourage adoption, free tier, premium tiers, in-app purchases, app-supported sponsorships, affinity partner revenue, and e-commerce. And remember, this is that modernized version of ambitious. That's the end of the ideate step. So now we've got an idea that we're taking forward. Okay, so now prototype. You want to prototype to see if the solution works with minimal effort and go really fast. Build to think and generate new ideas. Explain complex interactions. And learn how others respond to your ideas. You want to start experimenting with a solution or multiple solutions. Get real feedback and iterate and update based on what you learn. Ours is really kind of like the MVP that we're going to put out there. It's not perfect, but it's not all of it, but we think it's enough that people will buy it. And so here's some examples of prototypes you can do. You can do paper prototypes or new journey maps or click-through prototypes and wireframes, storyboards, a production description, feature sheets or skit, anything that explains the idea. That's the whole point, is to show versus just tell. And here's our prototype. This is CareerNav mobile app. And this is Wizard, which is our AI-based prototyping tool. So here we've got career planning as our first one, where you develop your current plan, your backup plan, and your emergency plan, and track your progress. Make sure you've got everything you need in case you need them. Oops, sorry about that. Sorry about that. And then you've got unfair advantage. Unfair advantage is about how do you make sure that you are competitive in the market. So what is it you want? What do you have to offer? Which industries are you interested in? And what's your unfair advantage? So this is putting all these things together to say, how are you going to get the opportunities that you want? This is a gamified part of the app where you're competing against other people. Everyone will have their skills map, and you'll be competing with others for prizes. Networking is just about creating your best network for whatever it is that your aspirations are. Innovation is one of my favorites, about innovation training and improv training, helping with design thinking and growth mindset, and innovator skills, and of course, my ideas, a place to store your ideas. Opportunity management is about making sure that you have a good handle on what are the opportunities coming your way. You can find them, or we'll find them for you through AI. And then how do you manage them? How do you get the opportunities you want? And community is simply about your mentors and others in the community and connecting with them through events and things like that. And finally, your portfolio of your accomplishments is what you store here. Okay. And back to our app. And so here we are now with some of the prototypes. There's 5 of them. This is the 3 of them. So career ready candidate is the one that we decided to do for people in college. And the purpose of this is to help you through your academic career, prepare for your post-academic career. CareerNav is an app CareerNav, here we are. And so it gives you all sorts of things on like what to do in your company, or how you can navigate your career. So things like, how can I navigate workplace politics? And I'll just give you, and I wish I had this when I was in business. It would have been very helpful to me. And also things like, how can I prepare for leadership roles? What strategy can I use to build my network for my plan? And it talks about what is it, how you do it. And it's actually really, really good advice. So very helpful. And finally, Creative Spark Coach is a tool that will help you with practice using innovation exercises. So for example, this is one about NASA meeting Cirque du Soleil, and your challenge is to imagine a creative collaboration between them. So what if we had NASA themed traveling Cirque Show planets, missions plus aliens. Right. And so it talks about, gives the title, show a title, and what it does is it's going to interact with you, and together you would work on building out this idea. So, and through it, you're enhancing your creativity. So that is one of my favorites, Creative Spark Coach. And that's the end of the prototype test step. So now you're testing. So why are you testing? To see what people really think about your idea. You want to refine and flesh out the details based on customer input. It's an interactive stage to get feedback. Does it solve the customer problem? And you want to learn this and then get feedback from customers. Quotes are great for a contest like this. Having a quote from real customers like mentors or instructors or your family, whoever it is, will help in your pitch. And judging is a test cycle, right? You're going to get testing during the judging cycle. So here's a feedback grid, simple 2x2, and we get what people like and what people don't like. One of the things people said is a lack of health and balance focus, which is interesting because once we changed our definition of ambition based on our research, we should have added a health and balance focus to it. So that's good feedback. Other things, I really like the questions. How does mentoring component work? I'm not clear on it, so obviously we haven't explained it well enough. And then more AI. How about using computer vision to critique my interview practice? Good idea. I think we had that as one of our ideas, but someone is telling us that we were right about that and we just didn't include it. So now you want to test the whole thing. So let's look at desirability. Ambitious students want guidance and support in their career. No doubt about that. The viability, we're providing a combination of free tier, premium tiers, in-app purchases, ad-supported, sponsorships, affinity partner revenue. We think that we have enough opportunities in this business model to make a go of it. But we'll have to go a little further to test that. We have a mobile app prototype, plus we already have some AI chatbots prototypes. So we think, we believe the tech is nothing that we can't do. And our objective is to help students be more successful and fulfilled in their career. We think that has integrity and positive impact. That's it. And this is our team, me and a bunch of AIs dancing in the shadows. Any questions? Thank you.